So in getting older, I've I've noticed a lot of changes I wouldn't have expected. And it's kind of prompted me to piece together this list to share with the nostalgic, the sentimental young person, a young person who likes memories, who likes holding on to keepsakes and documenting their lives. This isn't just reserved for younger people, though. I mean, all of us are younger than future us, right? So, this is all stuff that we could implement or consider. And plus, this is just fun to talk about. Getting old is it's weird. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. Like right now, we're seeing this resurgence of nostalgia. So we get this romanticization of eras from the past. We're getting reboots. We're getting bands reuniting and touring again. I feel like things are circling back around. So I'm finally at this age where things I grew up with are circling back around. People are either really nostalgic for it or they are actually coming back. Also, I've been like watching a lot of old home movies lately and stuff. So all these kinds of things have played a hand in me putting together this list. Advice for the sentimental person. Okay, my cat's just had a little freak out moment. So if the camera moved, that's why. Not every person is a nostalgic, sentimental kind of person. So this may not apply to you, but if you are, stick around. Okay, my first piece of advice is document stuff. Take pictures of your outfits, your clothes, your outfits of the day. What is your favorite outfit? Take a picture of it. Take a picture of you wearing it. I clearly remember from high school some of my favorite outfits and favorite garments that I just didn't take pictures of. So all I have is just the memory of them and no pictures. And I just think it would be such a cute thing to have documented for myself. Of course, we didn't take as many pictures back then, but now you have all the tools at your disposal. Take pictures of your room. I don't care how old you are, take pictures of your room because it's just crazy how much a house can change without you noticing it. Like you just put this thing here, you put this thing here, or whatever, and soon your room looks totally different than it did a few years ago. And teenage rooms, like, you will not be there forever. It's just going to be a memory. So I wish I had more pictures in my teenage room. It wasn't as cool as this, but, it's just not something you think to take pictures of. And that's why I'm encouraging it now. Take pictures of your car, if you have one. Take pictures of your technology. Like, you know how funny it is to look at pictures from your big desktop computer from the 90s? Or your big box TV, or your house phone. Just take pictures of your technology because right now, you cannot conceive how much it is going to change. Like one day, your stuff is going to be vintage and retro and cute, and people are going to be like, "Oh my God, that looks crazy!" Like it's going to be wild. So my recommendation: take pictures of your like PS5 that's going to be ancient one day. These are memories that are going to fade from your mind unless you take pictures of them, and it's gonna be a trip. Just do your future self a favor. My family, especially on my dad's side, like they were really good about taking pictures and saving pictures. So a lot of my ancestors, like great grandparents, great grandparents, they would take a picture of like them standing in front of their house or them standing in front of their car. And I just think that's a really cool thing to do. So I always like to take a picture in front of my house and in front of my car. Because like, I don't know, in the 40s you didn't think your car was like the coolest thing ever, but now when we're looking at a person standing in front of their 1940s car, it's like, wow. Last little thing under this category of documenting stuff, I might recommend saving notes that you pass in school. If kids still pass notes, I don't know. I have like every note I ever received in 7th grade still in a binder, organized by person they came from. That stuff's just so fun. Also, we're going to get into collectibles later, but in terms of documentation, I might just keep a running list of Okay, so what I do is I have a rock inventory. So every time I get a new rock, I will document like where I got it, how much it was, where it was mined from. That can be really helpful, especially if you are accumulating a collection that's going to become large one day. Consider that. Okay, piece of advice number 2, hold on to your stuff. It gets crazy. Maybe not just take pictures of your favorite clothes, maybe hold on to them. You will be shocked and amazed at how trends circle back around. So this piece of clothing that you are just sick to death of, or it's really not in style anymore, still may want to consider hanging on to it. It may become a coveted novelty in a few years. I know old people talk about that all the time, like, oh, it's gonna circle back around. It's annoying, but it's true. You'll also be surprised at how your interests circle back around, like what band you're into, what your hobbies are, what your style is. Hang on to that. So yeah, I would say don't be too hasty to throw things away just because the style has changed and it's not cool at the moment. Pop punk, for example, I really loved it back in the day, but then I got into rock, then I got into metal. Like, pop punk isn't cool anymore. I renounced it, but now I'm a grown up and I like it again, you know? So I would say at least keep a little small box and put things in that box. Just as an experiment. Make yourself a little time capsule. See what resurrects in the future. And I keep saying, like, you don't know what's going to become cool again, but you also don't know which things are going to increase in value. The whole, like, mall goth style from the 2000s is cool again now, so I dressed like that. Then I was embarrassed, but I still hung on to some of the stuff. And now it's highly coveted and there's a market out there for it. So I have ended up selling a lot of those items for a profit. Maybe this is a little niche piece of advice, okay, but save your band shirts. Just save them, okay? Doesn't even matter where you got them. Because the fact is, in 20 years, it doesn't matter if you got at Target, in 20 years it's vintage, okay? You may not yet know how trippy it is to be like scrolling through band shirts that are for sale and seeing one that catches your eye. It looks so familiar because you're like, oh, either I had that or like a bunch of people at school had that. You just, the sight of it is just familiar. And you're like, oh yeah, cool. And then you see the words rare, vintage, and then you see a huge price tag on it. And you're like, what? Hang on to that. We'll come back to this a bit later. Okay, so for holding on to your stuff, I just wanted to give an example because my mom hung on to her prom dress and now I have it. So this 70s prom dress is in my closet, still in our family, you know, because my mom hung on to it. How cool is that? Okay, piece of advice number 3. Value appreciates with time. The older stuff gets, the more valuable it becomes. And like, this is advice that I haven't yet implemented for myself, but I want to. When it comes to like concert tees, band tees, if you can, get 2. Go ahead and get 2. Put one in the vault. Wait 10 years. People might be willing to pay big money for your second one. The world of vintage t-shirts is wild and I'm fairly new to it. I had no idea that it was like this. My typo negative shirt, it's hanging on my wall. I got it for $30 in 2007 at their tour, at their concert, and now it's going for $200 or more. Like I said before, my mall goth clothes, for example, that value appreciated with time. Like, I just hung on to my morbid threads and serious clothing and all that kind of stuff. Now, like, a lot of these brands don't exist anymore and now people really want it. They're not one of a kind, but like, you can't just go get them anymore. So yeah, even though mall goth was ridiculed during its time, fell out of prominence, now there's this reinvigorated interest. There's this nostalgia. There's people who didn't live in that time who wish that they could and would love to capture that vibe. Okay, piece of advice number 4, buy that thing. This sounds so materialistic. This video is kind of materialistic, But it's for people who are sentimental and nostalgic, okay? Physical media. Now, I know a lot of people aren't really into physical media. It's just like whatever. But I wanted to put this out there just in case. If you're having this moment where you're like, I kind of want to buy that CD or DVD or book or shirt or action figure or poster or magazine, but you're like, I don't know. I would say if you are in a position where you can, I would. Because things go out of print. They really, truly do. Things are limited edition, limited run. You may not even know. You may not even realize you're like in a golden age. You don't realize you're in an age that people will yearn for one day. Okay, so I have a few examples. There's a book that I heard about on a podcast, The Vertical Plane by Ken Webster. When the podcast covered the book, it was out of print and it was going for $500 a piece. I check on it all the time. And they finally, due to increased interest, from what I understand, reprinted the book. And I was like, nice. So I bought it, $20. Well, the other day, someone reached out to me on Instagram and asked if I was selling my copy. And I was like, what? Why? So I looked it up. It's out of print again. And it's $500 again. I didn't know that it was only going to be reprinted once. I had no idea. I just bought it when it came available. And I'm freaking glad I did. Okay, another example. I was in college. I wanted to have my favorite movie on DVD. So I got my favorite movie on DVD. You know, it's just the one that was available. I just bought it. It's the snap cover one. And now this is not how it's printed anymore. And it's only going for like $45 now in this case. But now people are like, oh, you got the snap case one. Oh. And I'm like, it's just the one I bought, you know? I wasn't thinking anything of it, but now it's kind of coveted. I don't mean for this to be a freaking show and tell, but the last thing that I wanted to demonstrate was this Sephiroth figurine that I got in '06 at a convention for $25. Because I was like, I don't know, I just want him. And now, well, I think the last time I checked, he was going for $200. I mean, I didn't see that coming. But I also had no way of knowing about, like, the resurgence, the remake coming out, and then the nostalgia for the original being reinvigorated as well. In high school, my sister, she got some money, so she placed an order for some band shirts. So she got an Amon Amarth shirt, an Opeth shirt, a Nevermore shirt, and an Immortal shirt. And I was like, cool, yeah, I want to get those shirts one day too. Like, I'll get them at some point. And many, many years went by, and you can't just get those anymore. And those shirts are vintage now, okay? The Immortal shirt I did end up getting, but now it goes for like $40, $60 or more dollars. And that Nevermore shirt, I tried to find it, and it's just like, you cannot find it. There's not even like a reprint available. I did end up finding a used one, but I didn't see that coming. So yeah, buy that thing. Buy two if you think that they might go up in value, especially like a band shirt. If you're in the least bit interested in like collector's items, collecting, or perhaps selling and trading in the future, get that DVD, get that book, get that action figure. You never know when these things will go out of print. But even if you're not interested in like value or collecting, like this book, for example, I'm just glad I got the book. Like, I just wanted it and now I have it. Thank goodness. And my last piece of advice here is that change is guaranteed. And growing older is just, it's so intense because the change is everywhere. We might think we've just arrived. Like, this is how TVs are going to look now. This is how computers look now. This is how phones look now. But we don't know. Change is guaranteed. We might say like, well, this kind of clothing is uncool now. And this is cool. No. Change is guaranteed. But the thing about this whole journey of like growing up and seeing everything change around you. It's like nobody cares. Nobody else cares. It's just something you're going to go through and you're going to experience, and it's going to be crazy for you. So take advantage of this cultural time that you're in. Document it. Save pieces of it. Take pictures of it. Commemorate it, because you have no idea the changes that are before you. Hopefully this all made some bit of sense. I have a headache right now, but I did my makeup, so I was gonna follow through this video. So comment below, what is something that you regret not taking a picture of, or not saving, not keeping, or not buying even? Or what is some advice you would like to leave for the younger generation who has no clue the changes that await them? One more anecdote I forgot, okay? This is serious. In high school, I had a corn shirt, a Follow the Leader shirt. It was really cool. But then I got into metal, and corn was no longer cool. I was too cool for corn. I renounced all of that. So I used the corn shirt. I still kept it, and I used it as my hair dyeing shirt. And then eventually I just trashed it, because I don't care about corn. Well, first of all, I like corn again now. Second of all, that shirt is like $300 now. And I had just thrown it away. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. How would I know? The short-sightedness is real, okay? So that's a painful, painful memory when it comes to material objects. Okay, I have sure talked a long time, so hold on to your stuff, guys. And buy that thing you want if you can. And save your memories. Okay, bye!